Welcome back to Moonstone Mountaineer. My name is Gina, and I thank you for being here for part 2 in our ultimate guide to Yosemite. If you're new here, welcome. If you find this video helpful at all, it would mean a lot to me if you like and subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. And with that, let's get into part 2, which is going to talk about what there is to do in Yosemite National Park. Alright, so obviously in a national park we're going to have hiking. Let's begin with the easy trails. First up, we have Cook's Meadow. This is also an accessible trail because it's fairly flat, it's paved. There is a portion where there's a boardwalk. However, it's only a mile long and has spectacular views. I always recommend this hike because while it's short, it has a lot of payoff. First of all, you're in a gorgeous meadow. You can get to Superintendent's Bridge from there, which goes over the Merced River. You get to see Sentinel Rock, you get to see Half Dome, and you get to see Upper Falls. Speaking of Yosemite Falls, we also have Lower Falls, which is an easy trail, another mile-long stretch. I will say that if you're looking for accessible hikes, it is paved. However, the left side of the loop, if you're facing the waterfall, has a steep grade, so technically that side of the trail is not accessible, and it is not wheelchair friendly. The right side, however, is a great option. Again, just a really great hike. It ends at a waterfall. What isn't there to love about it? The best thing that you can do if you're in this area, whether you start with Cook's Meadow or you start with Lower Falls, they're both only about a 30-minute walk. So doing one right after the other is ideal, and I recommend it. They're just right across the street from each other. Mirror Lake is another easy hike. It has accessible parking right next to it. If you don't need accessible parking, you cannot drive right up to the lake. You'll have to park in Curry Village. A lot of people get really confused by that. There is a section of road that says authorized vehicles only beyond this point unless you're handicapped. And the sign tells you exactly what that means, but a lot of people, they see regular cars going in there and they get confused. So just know that that road is only open basically to buses, maintenance, and then those with accessibility needs. So because the closest parking is going to be Curry Village, that adds about a mile to your walk. The length of the Mirror Lake walk itself is about a mile. So it's kind of, 4 miles round trip? However, if you do start at the very beginning of the trail, which is accessible by bus, it's only a mile to the lake and a mile back. So if you're taking the shuttle, that shaves down like half of the walk. Next, we've got Bridlevale Fall. I'm a little jealous of anyone who gets to go on this hike because it was closed for renovations the entire time I lived in Yosemite National Park. But again, it's another mile trail. I personally haven't been on it because they just recently, 2024, finished it. And I'm just excited if you get to go on it. It's another one that's ending at a waterfall. It's probably the first thing that you're going to look at when you enter the valley. Now, down in Wawona, which is down by the south entrance, we've got the Mariposa Grove of giant sequoias. This is the best place to see giant sequoias in Yosemite National Park. It is about a 45-minute drive away from the valley. It's a good place to go whether you're staying in Wawona or if you're exiting or leaving the park. If the shuttles are running, it's only about a 2-mile hike there and back. If the shuttles are not running, it's going to be 6 miles there and back. If you have the disability placard displayed, you are allowed to enter that road, and you can go up there yourself without taking the shuttle, even if the shuttle isn't in service. Sometimes that road is closed for controlled burns or just anything weather related like snow, so always check that before you go. Up in the high country, Tuolumne Meadows, you've got the Soda Springs Trail. This is another 1 mile trail. It goes over a creek. It shows you Lambert Dome, and you get to see these natural soda springs. Now, a good moderate trail in the valley would be the Valley Loop Trail. You can kind of make this trail as long as you would like. It goes around the entire valley, as the name would imply. It starts near Lower Falls and goes from there. However, because it goes through the entire valley, you can either do the half loop, which is only like 6 or 7 miles, or the full loop, which is 13 miles. Or if you'd like, and I've done this so many times without even realizing it, you can just do a very small, like 1 mile part of the loop. The way that I don't realize I'm doing it is because a lot of the pathways in Yosemite Valley are actually just a part of the Valley Loop Trail. My favorite section is the part that goes from the Yosemite Meadow to Lower Falls, which is technically the end of the trail. However, you can do it whichever direction you want, and you can do however long you want. I like that a lot because it does gain just a little bit of elevation, but it's not too hard, so you can kind of get a nice view of the valley, but you also end at a waterfall. Now, one of the most popular trails here in Yosemite National Park is going to be the Mist Trail. This past year, a lot of people were joking, saying it was the Hurricane Trail because we had a lot of snowfall in winter 2023, which meant a lot of water in the spring. So it's called the Mist Trail for a reason. You get wet. Just expect that. And if it was a hard winter where we got a lot of snowpack and therefore there's a lot of snow melt, just know you're going to get soaked. Now, later in the fall, you're not necessarily going to get wet, but you're also not necessarily going to see the most spectacular waterfall because the waterfall won't be as wet. This is also the trail that you would hike to get to Half Dome. However, you do have to have a permit to hike Half Dome. A lot of people in the off season, when the cables are down, try to hike Half Dome, and a lot of them die. So please do not hike Half Dome unless you are prepared, you know what you're doing, and you have a permit to go. Also, if you ever see clouds in the sky, if there's any chance of rain or lightning up there, don't do the hike. It's not worth it. Another difficult trail, and it's mostly just because of the elevation gain, would be the 4 Mile Trail, which is deceptive in its name. The 4 Mile Trail is more like 4.5, 4.6 miles, but that's one way, and everyone's going to be doing it both ways. So it's almost like a 9 mile, 10 mile trail if you do the full thing. So don't be deceived by that. There is a very small parking area in front of the 4 Mile Trail. You have to get up really early to be able to get a parking spot there. Otherwise, the shuttle does stop right in front of that trailhead. You can get all the way up to Glacier Point from that trail. When Glacier Point is closed, although if Glacier Point is closed, there's probably bad weather or snow up there. It's an incline of about 3,000 feet. Anyways, if Glacier Point is closed, just know that maybe you don't want to be hiking up there without the gear to deal with snow and ice. But if the road to Glacier Point is closed, you can hike from the 4 Mile Trail to Glacier Point if you really need to see that spectacular view. Another difficult hike is the Upper Falls Trail. This is a 7 mile trail, and it's a lot of steps, and again, a 3,000 foot elevation gain. You do get to see Middle Earth, which is that section in between Upper Falls and Lower Falls. There's a great view of the valley, and there is like a bridge over the Upper Falls area at the very, very top. Now, beyond that, there are tons of hikes in Yosemite National Park. If I made a whole video about it, it would be like an hour and a half long. I will say that I did kind of gloss over the backcountry hikes. The reason being is that you need a permit to hike the backcountry, and I believe that if you decide to do that, you should probably just talk to a ranger. Those backcountry permits, as well as the permit to hike Half Dome, is available on recreation.gov. All right, thank you so much for tuning in to the hiking portion of this video on what to do in Yosemite National Park. If you thought that the information in this video was helpful, please like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me as a small creator when you support my channel. Don't miss the next episode, which is going to highlight different ranger programs within the valley, the best swimming places in Yosemite, and the best places to watch rock climbers, all of the fun activities that you don't want to miss out on if you're visiting Yosemite National Park. And with that, thank you so much for watching. My name is Gina, and this is Moonstone Mountaineer.